Shimmer reverb has become an essential effect for a lot of modern guitar styles, whether it's ambient stuff, pop music, or whether it's in modern worship music. Stuff like the Strymon Big Sky has basically let guitar players turn into keyboard players by letting us utilize these gorgeous sounding shimmery reverbs to add behind our chords. So I want to show you how to do that in the Axe FX 3. And if you just bought an Axe FX 3 and you go, you know what, I want to dial up my shimmer sound, I'm going to go, well, in this case, go to Quick Build in Axe Edit 3. I'm going to grab a reverb block, I'm going to drag it across, and then I'm going to go, all right, where's my shimmer block? And you go to S and you go, there's all these small things. There's like the South Church studio. There's no shimmer in here. And, you know, you're going, where's the shimmer reverb? My Big Sky can do this. Why can't the Axe FX 3, which is so much more powerful, do a shimmer reverb? Well, it can. Just doesn't have it in the reverb block. What you got to do is, rather than reverb, go to the Plex delay block. And specifically, we want to go to the Plex shift type. So if you just connect this and play, this is what you get with Plex shift at the stock settings. Which sounds like a kind of a soundtrack thing or something like that. So this can get us our shimmer sound. We just need to make a couple of tweaks. So let's get straight into that. The first thing, let's go to pitch. And we're going to, well, first, let's set the number of delays to 4 for a basic shimmer. Let's go to pitch, and we want to set the first 4 delay lines to be an octave up. I know there's some shimmer reverbs which let you add in a higher octave, in which case you would just want to set, say, a pair of these to 24. You could also do a lower octave by using -12. So we're going to set that there. I'm going to set all the detunes to 0 to start with. And then what we're going to do is have a listen to that. So it's kind of there, it's shimmery, I guess, but it still sounds like delays. So what we want to do is smear those delays out so that they sound more like reverb. The way we do that, let's crank the input diffusion and let's crank the crossfade time here. Let's have a listen to that now. That's not too bad. What we need to do now is tweak the individual times. So the stock settings, they are set to various tempo subdivisions. Let's turn off those first 4, set them to none. And what we're going to do, essentially, I think of these as like our pre-delays. So let's go for, say, the first line. Let's try like 150 milliseconds. And the same for time 2, because we're going to do all of this in stereo. And let's go for like 250 milliseconds for the 3rd and 4th lines. This is what we get with those settings. That's getting us closer. Let's go into the pan controls. And what I'm going to do, let's set everything basically to be hard left and hard right. So far, we're getting close to this kind of shimmer sound. We just need to sort of tweak a few things to get it a little bit more usable, I think. So there is a lot of high-end content in there. I guess this is sort of like the classic thing when people go, I don't like the way digital effects sound, that kind of like real bright, tingly high-end. To tame that, let's take the high cut, say, to about 4K and bring the low cut up to like 100. And immediately this will take out some of that harshness in the delays. And again, that sounds pretty good. It's not quite there. Let's try reverse delays instead of our regular delays. That sounds pretty cool. You can see I also cranked up the input diffusion time there. One thing to make this sound a little bit wider and more lush is to add a little bit of detune to each of those delay lines. So let's go, say, -8 and +8 either side, kind of like a stereo pitch detune thing. And let's offset these so they're not symmetric. Go like -5 and say 4, just for something different, so it's not symmetric. And that sounds way more like the sort of Shimmer reverbs we're probably accustomed to. You can also tweak out these for some longer delay times. Say we take these up closer to 400 milliseconds, and offsetting these slightly I find really helps. So a little bit more than 400, a little bit less. And we can, say, increase this time here, give it an extra little bit, something like that. I don't know, like let's go 160-ish, 170-ish. Let's have a listen to that. And it's up to you whether you want forward or reverse. I kind of like both. I'd say forward gives you more of the classic Shimmer reverb kind of sound, but I think reverse also sounds really musical. One other thing you can do is you can use this input envelope to essentially give you auto swells on the reverb like this. Which works really, really nicely. One trick I would recommend with this is to connect this Shimmer block now in parallel, and then we can set it up so that we can have the level at 0, turn the mix up to 100%, and you can attach like an expression pedal to the input gain to control the amount of effect going into the block, or you can use this to control the overall level. Say we take that to 50%, we get this. And that way our dry signal remains unmolested and we can blend in as much of this shimmer effect as we like. Of course, if you're doing that, you lose the ability to go like 100% wet with it, but most people don't do that anyway. If you did want to have more reverb than dry signal, use the level control to amp it up. So that's how to create a shimmer reverb. One nice thing about the Axe FX 3 is there are so many different blocks in there. You can combine this with reverbs and delays and modulation effects to really go beyond your standard shimmer sound. One thing that I really like to do is to take the number of delays to 8. We go to these kind of times, let's hit none on all of these. And then what we can do is in between these times, say we want like somewhere in the 150s, kind of like I had earlier, that'll do, close enough. Close enough is kind of good enough with these as well. It kind of adds a nice little bit of randomness in there. And say we had something in the 300s. Yeah, that looks cool. Say around there. And then we will go for slightly wider amount of detune, and what we'll do is I'll add in some high octave on one of them, so we'll go 24 rather than 12. And then I will pan everything hard left and hard right. You don't have to do this. This is what it sounds like. Which sounds absolutely gorgeous. Then what I like to do is if we copy this block, so let's go copy block, I'll connect it in another parallel row, But what I will do is I will set one of these blocks to be going forward and one to be going backwards. So we have this kind of layered thing. So this one can be my reverse delays. This one can be my forward delays. This sounds really, really lush now. And finally, connecting just a standard reverb in parallel is really nice. So if you go for something like the Ice Castle reverb, which I've been playing around with, so we'll set that mix 100%. Let's go for the input gain around 75%. We get this. And as I said earlier, you know, we've got so much CPU on tap here that we could combine this with more time-based effects like delay and chorus or flanger, phase, or whatever modulation you want. And you can go absolutely nuts with this. You can also right-click stuff like the input gain and assign different controllers. For example, you might want to attach an expression pedal to external 1 or pedal 1 and use that to control how you're swelling these effects in. So it's pretty cool. It's like having you know, a couple of big skies built into the box, which is really, really powerful. So hopefully that gives you an overview of how to set up a basic Shimmer reverb in the XFX 3, as well as hopefully inspiring you to take that approach and really push it and create some new sounds with it that you can use in your rig. If you've enjoyed the tutorial, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.